What is up, guys? It has been a couple of days. It's all been in our SDSU sweatshirt with our phone. It's not been great, but today we're back to give you the better value. We're here to be back in front of the camera talking about our favorite team in the Las Vegas Raiders, our Minnesota Vikings. It is what it is at this point. But the Raiders had themselves a pretty good draft class, if you ask me, and I just wanted to do kind of a quick recap of each pick just from the draft class, and then, yes, we'll also get a video out a little bit later about the players that they did bring in as UDFAs. And so, or maybe we'll do that video first. Haven't decided on what we're going to add first. So it's going to start out with, you got to start by talking about Brock Bowers, the tight end coming up out of Georgia. That's right, 56 catches, 714 yards, and 6 touchdowns this last year. And with Brock Bowers, I understand. You already drafted Michael Mayer. I absolutely get it. But it never hurts to have more weapons. And quite honestly, Brock Bowers, he could be the next Travis Kelce. Like, he could be such a dynamic weapon for this offense that already has so many other weapons that, honestly, this pick, I know that there was some, basically every defensive player was available at this pick. I know there were still some tackles on the board for right tackle specifically, but I really don't care. I think Brock Bowers is going to be an absolute stud, and I think that he's going to provide yet another wrinkle to this offense for Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, or quarterback to be determined, that is. But honestly, Brock Bowers, if I had to grade this pick, I know we'll do a recap, and I guess we'll grade it as well. Why not? I would give this pick an A because I understand, again, all the possibilities that were on the board, but this really does give another wrinkle, and it was BPA. I love it. I absolutely love it. Then you got Jackson Powers Johnson there, the center coming up out of Oregon. Another A here because he's a guy that played 829 snaps last year for the Ducks, did not allow a single sack or a quarterback hit. I think he only allowed 2 hurries in the last 3 years. He's an absolute stud. He's got experience at center. He's got experience at right guard. And quite honestly, I think he is going to be a Jason Kelce-esque type player. So when it's all said and done, he could legitimately be a key missing piece you've had and been looking for along this offensive line. It's another A here. The first 2 picks you got are immediate starters and going to be an absolute studs for you. It doesn't get any better than this. And we'll go into another offensive line video here for the Raiders a little bit later. But then in the third round, 77th overall, the Raiders selected Delmar Glaze, the tackle coming up out of Maryland. I'm not going to lie. This one came as a little bit of a shock. I understand that, yes, he's got a lot of experience playing both sides, and he's going to be a guy that, at the very least, he gives you some depth. But, 859 snaps last year, 3 sacks, 2 quarterback hits allowed this last year. It was a little bit of a shock. I think there were some better tackles, specific guys like Christian Jones and some guys that I thought could have been immediate starters right away. But maybe if he goes over to right tackle, gets a little bit coached up, maybe he could be that starter at right tackle for you. So, at the end of the day, this was perceived as a reach, but hey, I trust the coaching staff. I trust the development that they've been able to do with guys like Dylan Parham and company, and Dalton Wagner is, I think, another name you're going to want to watch. But honestly, when it comes to Glaze, I would probably give this pick I'll give it a C+, because I don't know necessarily that it's a reach, but there were better players on the board at that specific time. In the 4th round, 112th overall, the Raiders selected DeCameron Richardson out of Mississippi State, the corner. The dude is tall, he's lightning fast, and I think there's a lot to develop with here. So 79 tackles last year for the Bulldogs and a sack. I think he's going to be a player that you continue to develop, like I said, but also I think he gives you some solid depth in the meantime. So I don't think he's necessarily a starter, a shutdown corner right now, but I think he gives you a guy that will provide some depth and maybe could eventually be that kind of that shutdown corner with the right coaching and in the right scheme. So and then in the 5th round, number 148, Tommy Eichenberg. We said he was. I think we called him. He said he went to Wisconsin. Our other video. Our bad. Okay, it was Ohio State. But overall, 82 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a sack. I think it was over 100 total tackles. I think it was 82 solo. But anyway, at the end of the day, he's a tackling machine. I don't know necessarily that he's the best athlete, but at the end of the day, he might just be a special teams guy. And for a 5th round pick, that's okay. I would be okay with that. Oh, by the way, the grade for DeCameron Richardson, I'd give it a B. I liked it. Tommy Eichenberg, I'd give it a B as well because, again, I do think that at the worst case, he's a special teams player. The best case, maybe he could be your future middle linebacker starting, or maybe he could play on the outside as well and really develop into something special on this defense. In the 6th round, number 208 overall, they selected Dylan Laub out of New Hampshire, 1,400 all-purpose yards and 16 touchdowns last year for New Hampshire. I really feel like he's a guy that's going to continue to add more depth to this running back room that already has a lot of guys that are really honestly balling out. And honestly, he's going to be interesting. Now, the thing about Dylan Laub is he's quite honestly a much better receiving back than I think he got credit for, and I think he's going to be somebody that adds yet another wrinkle. Like, yes, he might not start right away. He might not get a lot of snaps with the kind of running backs that you have in the room right now, but next year or in the next couple of years, he might be a guy that gets a lot of snaps and really does provide a lot from a pass catching standpoint. Not 100% sure on the pass blocking aspect of his game, but I think he's going to be a tremendous runner on the inside, some outside zone, that kind of stuff. But as well as I think he's going to be a tremendous pass catching running back for the Raiders. And then in the 7th round, I know we're missing a pick here. We'll get it corrected in a second. But in the 7th round, Trey Taylor coming up out of Air Force. I love Trey Taylor. I quite honestly think that he's going to be one of those guys that might not look like much right now, but he could legitimately be a starter down the line. And to get that from a 7th round pick and at least get a special teamer, I think is going to be a tremendous value and was a tremendous add for the Raiders. Between the Laub and Taylor pick, I would give Laub a B. Trey Taylor, I'm giving a B+ because I think that he just provides so much value for you, and I think he could develop into a quality starter for you down the line. And then, yes, I did forget the 229th pick in the 7th round that they had. Cornerback M.J. Devonshire Marlin was his name, coming up out of Pitt. 32 tackles, 4 interceptions, did have a pick 6 last year. Again, he's a little bit of a shorter guy, like 5'10", 5'11", but again, I'm excited for this pick because you get a couple of guys in Taylor and Devonshire here who will give you some special teams acumen and then also maybe even develop and carve out roles in the secondary, because at the end of the day, you did need help at the cornerback position. We still need to find that shutdown guy to help out this defense. And so I, for one, am actually really excited about this. But hey, let us know what you guys think about the Raiders 2024 NFL draft class. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below. But let us know what you guys think about how the Raiders drafted in 2024.